We are live, and then boom.
Nice.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Slip into the Night, episode 32. Taking a breath. Holly had a day off during the week this week, so we decided to do a show. We may do something on Saturday. We haven't decided yet. Holly tried to delve into some inner Earth stuff and found herself in a rabbit hole deeper than Alice in Wonderland. How'd that go for you?
It was weird stuff. I was scratching my head.
And we could still do one if you want. I just, it is kind of a wacky theory.
I don't think it's a bad idea to outline the theory, and this is what people think. But I think you, and some of the drawings that people have made have been very involved. And YouTube has a huge amount of inner Earth or what they call Agartha videos in Tagalog.
What does that mean?
Tagalog is like I don't know, it's like a Pacific language. Like it's a very, I don't know.
Oh, so it's like they're just all in a different language. Are they subtitled?
Even if they're not, I think you can have YouTube put subtitles in there. But
interesting.
But I was just surprised how many
of those there were.
How many of those there were? Like, someone who speaks Tagalog is really an aficionado in Inner Earth, in Agartha, really into it.
But since that rabbit hole was so deep. Oh, hi, Katie. Yes, hey.
Hey, Katie.
Since that rabbit hole got too deep, and we weren't sure what we were going to be doing this week, and Holly didn't know what day she was going to have off, and so or whatnot. And then she told me yesterday. I said, "Hey, why don't we try to do a show this morning and or today?" And I was like, "Oh shit, what are we going to do the show on?" But I thought, a lot of the stuff that we talk about here is like, it's for kind of for self-betterment. Like a lot of these programs and these spiritual practices or religions or whatever that we talk about, or these things that we're talking about, they're very grounded in bettering yourself. And one of the biggest things I say to people all the time, I think I've said it to you before, Holly, is take a breath. Just fucking take a minute,
Yeah.
Just take a breath. Relax. Don't let this fucking get to you. And I think in this time that we're in right now, I think the biggest thing that people can do is because we have such varying different opinions out there about this whole the pandemic and the response to the pandemic. And, this person thinks that it's all bullshit, and this person thinks that, that it isn't all bullshit. And then this person thinks that it's a conspiracy, and this person thinks that it runs such a wild gamut. And I think that, most everybody could benefit from just fucking taking a step back from the situation and taking a fucking breath. I can be a condescending motherfucker. Like I caught myself the other day, and I talked about this, I think, on the show on Sunday. I was out doing some shopping, and a guy kind of got all like, "Hey, I don't even know why you're wearing a mask," and I'm wearing a mask, and I'm just like, dude, fucking what? And even though I was really, decent and calm about the whole thing, I was still kind of dickish. So I think everybody could just benefit from realizing, hey, everybody's got their own thing with this thing. That guy is having his issue. He's got to learn to check himself too. That's not, but I can't just poke at him either. So I think everybody should just realize, just fucking relax. It's cool. Kind of step back, look at things from a fucking broader perspective than just your own. You know, I remember one time I was reading a book. I think it was the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Yes, at one point in time I did read shit like that. But there's a good point in it. The guy was telling a story about how he was on a train and there was this father with all these kids, and the kids are just being fucking unruly. They're going crazy. They're all over the fucking place. They're just going nuts, and the father's not doing anything about it. And all of a sudden the guy turns to him, the father, and he says, "Listen, I'm really sorry. My wife passed away. And I don't know how to tell the kids. And I'm just letting them do their thing." And he's like, at that moment, my perspective changed. Like before, I was pissed off that all these kids were being crazy on the train. But now, I'm like, Jesus, Una. Fucking hell. I'm dog sitting and she snores. But anyway, so this guy, like his whole perspective changes. Like in this one moment when the guy's like, "Oh, my wife passed away." And it's like, "Oh, shit. Like here before, I thought you were just a fucking dickhead father." But having that understanding. So I just think that everybody could benefit right now from just taking a fucking second and not overreacting. Take a breath. Realize that we're all fucking dealing with some bullshit. Some people are fucking crazy scared about what's going on right now. Scared. Some people don't give a sweet shit that it's going on right now. But I think we should respect everybody. Like, all in all. My problem with that guy was, listen, don't chastise me for what I'm doing. Because like his whole thing was, I don't know why you're wearing a mask. Because I'm out in public and there's other people, and it makes them feel better. And I feel like wearing it, and it doesn't hurt me. I was a little more dickish than that, but therein I could have taken some of my own advice, Holly. I could have stepped back.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all could benefit from it though right now. It's because it's kind of for some people it's a very scary time, and for some people it's just, some people think this is completely ridiculous. But for some people it is so scary, it's paralyzing.
Absolutely. Yep. It is.
So I just know that it's very it's a strange time, and people are trying. Everybody's trying in their own little way.
Yeah, so it's really, I've really seen, because I work in the medical field, so I have really seen an uptick in depression and in anxiety. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to deal with having to be told that you're safer to stay at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of a sudden it feels like for a lot of people their freedom has been taken away a little bit, and for those people who already were kind of homebound, it means like their world all of a sudden shrunk much smaller, and if they are used to seeing their families and they can't, and it's for a lot of people there's also this grieving process where they feel like they've lost something, and that collectively we've lost something, and it's something to work through. So it's kind of a emotionally sensitive time for people in many different ways, and when you take a breath when you stop and you take it and breathe deeply, it helps you get your kind of
It helps you get your bearings.
yeah, it helps you get your bearings. It helps you get your kind of your different parts of your nervous system back into balance. Because when you're stressed or you're in kind of in that fight or flight mode, you breathe very shallow and rapidly up high.
Mm-hmm.
So when you take a real deep breath and breathe in and pause, and maybe even hold it for a few seconds and then pause, it breaks that cycle of feeling in that kind of fight or flight mode a little bit.
Right.
And that helps kind of switch your thinking, because when your breath starts getting rapid and a little bit in that fight or flight mode,
your body's conditioned to do that.
Yes, because it's going into survival mode, and
Right.
this has definitely triggered that survival mode for a lot of people, whether it be fear of the virus or fear if you're going to have enough toilet paper, or what are you going to do about your kids homeschooling for another month, or not having daycare to go to, or you're not getting a paycheck because your business is not essential. So how are you going to pay your bills? It can really get folks in that kind of survival mode, which can provoke, when your body, when you were kind of primitive man, we had to survive. You needed that like adrenaline shot to get you away from danger, or fuel you when you were tired or hungry to find food and shelter and get a fire going. But in our modern age, where we are, we don't need, we have so much going on. We can be in that fight or flight all the time. So we kind of have to consciously reset ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And that is getting that deep breath is one way to really get your body thinking and under control, and slowing it down when it starts to race. Because when your breathing starts to race, your mind starts to race, and it becomes a pattern loop, right? The faster you kind of start to breathe, the more your mind races, the more panicky things feel. So that slow down, take a breath, and just pause helps you break that cycle, that internal cycle.
Yeah, and that rhythmic, if you can get yourself just breathe in, a deep, long, like 4-second count, and then like a 2-second hold, and then breathe out. Like just do that for a little bit and just fucking relax yourself. Because a lot of times when you get into those situations, like you were saying, you go into that mode, that fight or flight mode. Like, especially like if you get confronted by someone somewhere, like look at what was happening. Like people were getting into fucking fist fights over the weekend about masks.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy. People were literally like, like over people not wearing masks, over people actually wearing masks. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, what the fuck does it matter? What the fuck does a mask matter? That's what I don't get. I don't understand why everybody's having such a freak out. It's like, what does it matter if that dude wants to wear a mask or if I want to wear a mask? And listen, if you don't want to wear a mask, guy, whatever. You hear all these people, if you don't want to wear a mask, just tell them that, you can't because, it makes you feel like whatever. Don't fucking give me your bullshit. Like, wearing a mask is not a big deal. Your rights haven't been fucking taken away from you. It's a mask. Jesus Christ. Put on the fucking thing over your eyes and the fucking cowl. Make yourself into Batman, for fuck's sake. I don't give a shit. But it's not, it's not, they haven't taken away like all your fucking civil liberties by just having you wear a fucking mask. It's not a big deal. And if it, like I said before, if it helps other people feel better around me, fuck, I'll do it. I don't think that people need to be wearing them outside if there's a generous amount of distance between people. I don't think outside's necessary unless it's a packed area. I think that outside, people wearing masks outside is ridiculous. But But as far as like when you go into a store, convenience store, grocery store, pharmacy, whatever, yeah, fucking put on your mask. Because these people, I'm not putting on. All right, whatever, big man. If that makes you fucking feel like you can swing your dick around, or whatever the case may be. I don't know what the analogy is for women.
Wow, Chris.
It's
Goodness.
true though. These
I
fucking people who are just like, I'm not wearing a fucking mask. Okay, could you fucking pull your dick out of your pants anymore and show it to us, please? Like, because that's what you're trying to do. Like, I'm a man, or I'm an American. Okay, so am I. I got the fucking mask on.
Right. So it becomes like this dominance.
Don't try to alpha male me, motherfucker.
Yeah,
God.
when it really it doesn't need to be a dominance issue. It can just be a reframe it into a.
Yeah, don't try to alpha male me. I'll hump your leg.
Goodness. I think what Katie's saying. You want to post Katie's second comment?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think addressing the fear is important. Science, facts, and the media not feeding on people's fear would go a long
No,
way.
she's absolutely right. And
Absolutely.
early on in the whole thing, Dr. Drew had like cursed out the media for saying, like, listen, let science like figure this shit out and stop just reporting every little fucking thing that pops up, which is what they've done. They've fed on everybody's fear. And the media during this whole thing has made me hate the media more than I already did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that they have certainly contributed to the fear, and it's very easy to just because there's the 24-hour news channels now, to just keep it, and that's all you're going to fill your home with is the pandemic crisis stuff. So in addition to taking a breath, consider turning off the TV and just
consider unplugging.
Yeah, and just go outside, and take a break from it.
I mean, I'll tell you, I just yelled at the dog. Well, I didn't really yell at the dog. I'm mostly trying to wake the fucking dog up. She was fucking snoring. But I've been dog sitting, so I've been taking the dog out for walks every day, down to the beach, and it's been fucking awesome. Just getting out. And I don't want a dog. Like I do. Well, I take that back. I do want a dog, but I can't have one right now. And she's going to be leaving soon. But I'm liking the walks, but I'm like trying to figure out how I can convince myself to like actually go do it.
When you don't have a reason that makes you do it.
Right, exactly. That's getting me up in the morning. Like, hey, I gotta go piss. Like, can we go now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
but we tend to do that though in general. Like a lot of people do that. Is you have to make time to get outside and be in nature.
Oh, yeah.
And like me, I work 40 hours a week, and then I come home and I cook and I clean. And I live in a pretty rural place, and I still have to consciously make a plan. Okay, I'm gonna, that's part of my plan today. I'm gonna go to my favorite little spot, and I'm gonna go get away from it all for a half an hour and walk in the woods.
Yeah, see,
because nature also has that capacity to help you reset your thinking, reset your breathing, helps you relax, get it away from it all.
Yeah, Case says that's why I'm still not on Facebook. I'm actually trying to work on that because it's very hard for me because I've got the like page, which I'm trying to grow. But I've been wanting to take like a break, and it is possible for me to, but I have to schedule everything in advance. So like if I scheduled out like a week's worth of posts, because I am going to go on a mini little vacation kind of in July. And I'm going to have to I'm gonna have to post everything in advance because there's no way while I'm out visiting with some family and stuff that I'm going to continue to, do my posts every day on fucking Facebook. So I'll just post it all out, scheduled out for a week, and then just take a week off from it probably. Like talk to the people like that I talk to, like Steve and Matt and stuff like that on Messenger, but just take a fucking break from Facebook for the week. Because I just, I spend a lot of time on it because of the like page.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. Oh, excuse me. And that's another place too, where I have to learn to take a breath is on Facebook, because I'll become angry typing guy in fucking 2 seconds flat. Just fucking, just fucking pounding those keys like a maniac because I'm so pissed off. Just take a breath. People realize that there are so many people are reacting to this in so many different ways. This is the first thing I'm going to tell you. You don't have to shove your shit in people's faces. You don't have to shove your fucking bullshit about how people shouldn't be wearing masks and all that. Keep it to your fucking self. There's a lot of people who are seriously, seriously scared. I was just an ex-girlfriend of mine years and years ago. I happen to be friends with on Facebook. She has an autistic son. And she was like, does anybody know how I can, convince him that it's okay, that he can wear the mask and go out and we can do things because he's petrified? And I'm just like, that poor guy. Like, how the fuck? Like, this is not cool. Like, everybody takes it differently. Some people react really negatively to things like this. Like people who are like hypochondriacs and, or who have like, or who are obsessive compulsive about germs. Like, Jesus, this must be horrible. Although I heard somebody say something about like, that somebody who was like that said, no, it's great because everybody's doing what I was doing. Which is kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. Like when I go out, because none of us want to put on that shit. None of us want to have to put a mask on to go into a fucking grocery store, or nobody wants to fucking have to follow the lines on the fucking floor. But
oh my gosh, there's a learning curve with that.
Exactly. And somebody said to me, like, I fucking gotta wear a mask, go in a store, I gotta go. It's like, dude, do you go the right way on a road? Like they tell you, do you park fucking diagonally when the fucking cars are going the other way in a parking lot? They already give you rules for shit. Like I mean, I haven't heard anybody screaming, my fucking civil liberties are being taken away. I need to run screaming naked into a fucking grocery store. No, like we're required to wear clothes when we go in. But now they ask for a fucking mask, and you'd swear that they fucking asked you to come in carrying fucking 20-pound weights on each leg.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane to me. Sorry.
It's okay.
Rant over.
And sometimes before you can take a breath, you just need to get it off your chest and communicate it. And like, I am not really big into suppressing how you feel either. But, there's a balance to it. Like sometimes things that I need to say, I don't actually say them to the actual person. I just have a little journal and I write that stuff down, because often I'll go back a day or two later and I'll look at it and I'll be like, yeah, I'm really glad I didn't say that out loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at the time, I really needed to get it off my chest because it was too big, and then I could take the breath.
Yeah. I knew people that used to write it down and then they'd throw it in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
just whatever. But yeah, you definitely it definitely helps, and I think that we just do better right now if everybody would just take a minute, when you're out, when you're dealing with people out in public right now, just take a second and go, oh, okay, wait a minute, all right. Like I should have done the other day and been like, hey man, it's instead of being a condescending prick like I was, which I'm sure I came off like one. He didn't seem to care though, because he just kept running his fucking.
Yeah. Well, having patience is difficult, right? Patience
It's
and
fucking especially when you.
developing patience,
Oh,
like, is almost a way of asking to get trying situations sent your way.
yeah, no shit, right?
Right. So it's just kind of inner monitoring when something is really starting or ready to push my buttons. Maybe it's time for me to walk away. But yeah, it's and certainly here where it's getting warm, like, up in New England, pretty much up until this week, it hasn't been too warm. So wearing a face mask hasn't been too much of a bother. But I think, with it becoming like 80 and 90 degrees up into the hundreds by the mid-July.
And listen, and I've got no sympathy for people when it comes to that either. None. I did drywall for a long time, and I did patch and paint work for a long time. I sanded a lot of drywall mud with mask on in hot ass conditions. Like, I'm sorry, I got zero sympathy for these people who say I don't want to wear a mask, or it bothers me to wear a mask. Okay, if you say so. I have asthma and I smoked and I wore a mask. So if you say so, like, unless you got COPD or you've got some heart problem that says, I've got zero fucking sympathy for you. Zero. Just tell me you don't want to wear a mask. Don't fill me with your bullshit. Just tell me I'm not wearing a mask because I'm an asshole. All right, cool. I'm good with that. Don't tell me you can't, because you can. And that's the other thing. There's so many different options for them. You don't have to wear the one that fucking just wraps around your fucking face or whatever. You don't. There's so many different types of masks that you could get. That's why I say anyone who tells me that they can't, they're a fucking asshole. Just tell me you're a fucking asshole. You're not going to wear a mask. Okay, cool. I'm good with that. Thank you. Otherwise, put one fucking on. Shut your fucking mouth. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, Frank.
Yeah.
And Jason. Yes. Hey, he caught
Frank,
us a live show.
I didn't. I don't know if I've seen you in the chat before, but welcome.
Doyle Thorne, if he's still listening. Hey, welcome,
yeah. Frank.
We're kind of just having a laid back day.
Yeah,
catching up, taking a breath. We're taking a breath today.
Yeah, I figured, like I said, where Holly was off today and we didn't really have a topic, we do something, at least put something out. If we do a show on Saturday, we'll try to do like an actual in-depth topic like we normally do. But I figured we'd just get on today and talk about this because I figured it'd be a good thing for everybody to think about. I mean, this is not. Everybody's dealing with this in their own little way. So just think about that. It isn't. People aren't dealing with this the way you are, and I think that's the biggest thing that everybody should take away from this is that Holly's not dealing with this the same way that I am. I am not dealing with this the same way that Katie is. That's the facts of the matter. Everybody is dealing with this differently. So just take a fucking step back, take a breath, think about things before you say something to somebody. Don't be like me and just be a fucking condescending prick the other day, which I don't think hurt that guy one fucking bit, by the way. But when I sat back and reflected on it, I thought about it and I was like, dude, you could have been at least a little bit less of a prick when you said it. You know, not that that guy deserved that at all. I don't believe one bit. But it just, you know, take the high road. Take the fucking high road, people. That's what I got for you today. Holly, you got anything else before we wrap this shit up?
Let me think. Taking a breath.
You gotta take a breath every time a fucking car goes by.
I know. I know. We talked about this. My road is getting very busy because I'm on a. Even though we've kind of mentioned that I do live out in the sticks, I live on a main road in the sticks.
Yeah, you live on a main route.
Yeah. So it's a state highway, and I'm rather close to the road, and so and then my new microphone picks up all the traffic noise and
yeah, and like Katie says here, if masks are what it takes to open up our economy, then fucking yeah.
I mean, I have to wear a mask every day at my job because I see patients and we have to remember, this is the thing that I feel like with the COVID stuff, but it applies for other things in general. And I'm actually surprised the masks weren't implemented sooner because like with COVID, there is a fairly high percentage of people who have absolutely zero symptoms.
Yes, correct.
Zero.
I was watching Joe Rogan, and he was talking about an entire prison that they tested, and like 90-something% of the prison population and the guards tested positive, but were asymptomatic.
Yes. So.
It's such a weird time. Yeah. It's such a strange time, and this is the thing that we all have to understand about this.
So
we are in the learning part about this virus.
Yes. So because I have a role where I see patients, my job requires me as part of my PPE for my safety and the safety of patients that I have to wear a mask all the time. Mm-hmm. And
that's probably not going to go away from now on either for you.
I don't think it's actually ever going to change. And in fact, yesterday it kind of came up with, oh, didn't you really? We were looking closely at that memo, and you're supposed to also wear gloves, plastic gloves. Which kind of my office kind of didn't get the clarity on that. So seeing patients, and also if you in the room with them, you may have to, take a blood pressure, do different things, have to wear gloves. So, and if they are known to have COVID, it's even more protective equipment. But it's just out into the world now. This is probably what's going to be our standard living of protective equipment for a while is, some kind of a face mask. And it's one to protect other people. And if you are one of those asymptomatic carriers, and you feel fine.
You don't know. If you're wearing a mask, you're not going to spread that. Or you're not going to spread it as easily.
Less likely. So what they're trying to do is when you are talking about infection, they have what's called the R naught or the R sub-zero. And it is a value of how infectious a disease is or how infectious a virus is. And so what they are trying to do is implement something that decreases that R naught value for the COVID virus so that it's not as infectious. And the other thing is if you have it and then you get something else like a regular cold or influenza, then you are more likely to have complications because you're actually fighting off multiple viruses. And there are some cases of this out there in the literature that, people have picked up not only COVID, but then influenza and a common cold like a rhinovirus. And so they're having to deal with multiple things.
Yeah.
Yes. In washing your hands. Yes, Jason. Oh, that's important also.
Yeah,
But you should use it, but you also need to. My other thing though is with the media saying wear a mask, is that if you're going to wear a mask, wear it properly.
Yeah.
And you know,
Cover your nose and mouth.
In many occasions, gone to the grocery store and seen people wearing masks because they've been told they had to, but they're not maybe educated on how to properly wear the mask, so it's not actually working. Or they just walk in and they only cover their mouth and not their nose, and that is kind of defeating the purpose. But I don't engage. Like, it's not my job at that point.
Yeah, no.
I'm just doing my groceries.
My thing that when I'm in there, I've got my mask on. If somebody else doesn't have a mask, I really don't care, because I'm gonna attempt to stay 6 feet away from them for the most part.
Yeah.
As I've said recently, I pretty much gave up on, close friends and family. I am no longer social distancing. But when it comes to strangers and people out in public, of course I am. But hey, people, before I wrap this up, just seriously, when you are out, take a moment before you just start jumping down somebody's throat about the fact that they are wearing a mask, which I don't know why you would do that, or not wearing a mask, which I also don't know why you would do that. Just take a fucking minute. Take a breath, relax. No one needs to punch somebody else over a fucking face mask. And I said this in the beginning. We just need to get the fuck through this. Like Katie was saying, no one likes these fucking things. But if fucking we can get the country rolling again by just fucking wearing masks, then fucking do it. Christ, you're all bitching about the country not being open up. Wear your fucking mask. Christ, do you ever think that half of the problem is they don't want to open the country up because they know people aren't fucking doing what they're asking? Like, and it's simple. They're not taking your fucking rights away. It's a goddamn piece of fucking paper mask or a goddamn fabric mask. It's simple. Take a minute. Relax. Don't get uptight like me.
Oh, Chris.
Jason,
he's literally hasn't been outside of his house since March. That's hard.
Yeah, that's for him. Yeah, is that Jason O you're talking about? Yeah. Hey, that's fucking some rough shit, and there are other people who are dealing with this worse than what we are or what you are out there. So just fucking remember that. And I do not know what we will be back with on Saturday, if we do a show on Saturday. Holly has been pimping this fucking Inner Earth shit, but I think
I don't know.
She weirded herself out with her own research.
I kind of did get weirded out by the homework. I'm like, I talked about doing this, and I'm like, but this is weird.
So until her and I will discuss, and we'll try to come up with an idea for something for Saturday. But until then, be good to the people out there, everybody, and be good to yourselves. We will see you on the other side.